Hey everyone. So this is the introduction to our ConflictCon. So if you missed class on Tuesday or you just want to see this again, here's kind of your overview. What we're looking at now is your invitation to the inaugural online ConflictCon that includes panels and experts in natural disasters, accidents, pandemics, mental health crises, human conflict, and more. Who are the panels and experts? That's you guys. So let's take a look at what this is, where you can find it, and how we get started. So come on over to our Canvas page and our modules and our unit resources page, Arguing in a Crisis, unit resources. This page where everything is living, there is now this ConflictCon section. And so you can see under the documentation, I've broken it down. I said I was going to do one big document. I've broken it down into several. There's going to be a couple more. So this isn't everything, but this is most of everything we're doing. We're going to look at in this video is your tasks and your grading rubric. So the end of the product. And then I'm also going to walk you through how to start your support and research. Those two things in this video. If you want to skip right to the support and research, just do that, find the chapter marker. But let's talk about the task. So when you download this document, it's this one right here. So it starts with your invitation to participate in this, and that is the correct date, May 18th to 21st. That's like the last week before we do finals and stuff like that. So this is the culmination. What are we building to? Well, we're building to this. Thank you for participating in ConflictCon 21. Your expertise is needed to help address our topic this year. Do you have to be selfish to survive in a crisis? You sit on a panel that presents a cogent argument to this question in one of four contexts: natural disaster or accident, pandemics, mental health crises, or human conflicts. So practically speaking, right? So your argument will be either yes, you have to be selfish, or no, you don't have to be selfish, and you will focus in on one of these four areas, right? So natural disasters, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, stuff like that, accidents, whether they're natural accidents or man-made accidents, the boat getting stuck in the Suez Canal, when the oil tanker, the oil rig blew up in the Gulf of Mexico, right? Stuff like that. Pandemics, either the current one we're in right now, or maybe like the Spanish flu from 1918, maybe the bubonic plague from the 13th and 14th century. Focus on any of those. You can pull from multiples of these. Mental health crises, either like systemic and social or individual. How one gets through one themselves, how you help other people. Any of those things will work for this. And human conflicts like wars, like oppression, like genocide, people against people in any kind of format. Since we are in the middle of a crisis ourselves, ConflictCon has gone virtual. You'll be pre-recording your argument and presenting on a digital panel, so there will be no live Q&A. Make your argument count. Practically what that means, we will be using Canvas. We'll be using the discussion boards in Canvas, but you will be recording a video of yourself. If we have time, we will also attend the conference where I will open up the discussions and we can watch them and give feedback and stuff. But at the very least, we will be using the video record functions that are built into Canvas to record your argument. Please respond to ConflictCon administration, that's me, with your first and second preferences of panels by Friday, April 23rd. Okay, so those are the choices you need to make, right? Which one of these four focus areas, contexts, sounds the most interesting to you, right? And then also give me a backup. And then also choose a side, yes or no. You don't have to believe in your choice, right? It doesn't have to be strong. If you want one choice in one context and one choice in another, and a different choice in a different context, that's also fine, right? Maybe you say no, you don't have to be selfish during pandemics, but maybe yes, you do have to be selfish during a mental health crisis. That's fine. You can mix and match, does not matter. There is an assignment in Canvas where you can just send me your choices. So send me your choices in there. Think about it. We'll talk about it until Friday. But if you could try to make a decision by Friday, everybody will get at least their second choice. I'll try to give everybody their first choice. I'm trying to just spread out the panels a little bit and get some variety. But at the very least, you'll get your second choice. But you got to let me know by Friday, or I will just assign you something. Okay. So that's what we're doing, right? You are constructing an argument that you are going to present on video as if you were the expert talking to a room of people at a conference. Basically, that's where we're headed. Okay. So, important question, Mr. L, how am I getting graded on this? So, we'll be doing assignments along the way that also count for points, but that final argument, that final recorded argument, will be a total of 60 points all by itself. So, it's pretty significant. The things leading up to it are going to ensure that it is of high quality. I'm not going to go through everything in this video on this rubric, but I did want to show you that there are 4 areas. Each area you can get up to 15 points. So just to take this first box, for example, you can see it says planning here. You're going to know how many of these points you got during the planning process before we even get to the end. So 2 of these 4 categories deal with planning. 2 of the 4 categories deal with the final product itself. When you look at each category, you will see a box like this that on the left has the level and the generic descriptor, that those don't change. Those are on all the rubrics. Then on the right-hand side, we have a description of this assignment, and then we have the points available. So if you notice here, the 15 points is not the top of the rubric. Okay, so you can actually, A, you can get more than 100% on this product. B, you are aiming for level 5 to 6, which is 14 to 15 points. That is your A range. And so you can see here on the left-hand side, generic, competent use of organizational structures. What does that mean? Well, in our assignment, this is what it means. 2 to 4 minor claims, 2 to 3 pieces of support for each claim, and 2 different types of support used. There you go, right? So when you're building your outline, you're going to know if you've hit this box or not already, period. So this is what you're looking for. I want you to explore the other 3 on your own, and we'll come back to these and look at these as we're planning and as we're getting towards the end of this as well. But there are 4 different categories. Each one you can get up to 15 points in each category. So you're aiming for that highlighted yellow. That is the 100% level, right? So even if you're at level 3, level 4, you're still getting the majority of the points. So we're not looking for perfection here, right? It's got to be competent and adequate, not perfect, right? And you can see to get over 100%, it goes up to sophisticated. From adequate to competence to sophisticated. That's what we're looking for. So explore the other 3. They look just like this, and just the specifics are a little bit different. So 2 categories for planning, 2 categories for the actual final recorded video. And that adds up to 60 points. There will also be other assignments along the way. All right, so that's the overview. That's where we're going. Okay, that's the argument. Now, I'm going to walk back and let's just start building this document and dossier together. So you can see in the documentation here, you've got support and research, persuasions and appeals, argument outline. We are starting on support and research right now. I am going to ask you for your first entry on Friday as a warm-up. They're basically free participation points just to make sure you're doing them. So when you open this up, you'll make a copy, and we're going to, our first piece of support is going to be with the article, Is Survival Selfish? So you can find that right up here under the notes and texts, and you can open up that. You can follow along with me. I'm going to do it right now live for you. So this is what your research sources look like. Each one, there's 10 right here. You can use more later on. You are not picking them out ahead of time. As we're reading stuff, as we're going over things in class, anything that kind of strikes you, you're going to throw it in these sources. And then at the end, when you start to build your argument, you've already done most of the work. And you're just going to take out the support that works for you and leave the rest of it. So with each one, you can see the first 2 boxes are about being able to find your source, find your document. Okay. So the title and the author of this one is Survival Selfish? And the author is Lane something. Let's see what her last name is. Lane Wallace. Oops. Lane Wallace. So the location for this one is just Canvas. The location is where can you go find this? When you start reading your independent pieces, you're going to want to put the web address in there, the URL, that's the web address. so that A, you can go find it again if you need it, and B, when I look at it, I can go find it. So those first two boxes, that's just documenting where did you get this, what is it. So for this one, you can put Canvas because that's where we found it, and that's where you can find it again if not. Then the last four boxes are about the actual piece of support you're going to put in. One word, what type of support is it? Or 4 types of support, you're going to put one of those. The passage, that's where you're actually going to copy and paste the piece. Does it support being selfish? Yes or no. So just yes or no in that box right there. And then how and why does it support that claim or not support that claim? A little bit of your logic. You're not trying to write a full paragraph or essay here, just enough notation so that you remember what the heck this thing was about when you come back to it in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to come over to the article here, and I like this this anecdote in paragraph 11 about the mountain climbing, and the guy has to cut his friend off because he knows he's going to die. If he doesn't cut his friend off, they're both going to fall. So he makes a decision to cut his friend loose, and that saves him. His friend ends up living too, so like that's really nice. But obviously that didn't really play into his decision-making process. So I'm gonna copy this little bit of it right here. And I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to put this passage in. And I'm also going to put paragraph 11, just so I know where to go get it, right? If I want to use this later on, I can come back here and I go, oh yeah, that's what it was, and go find it quickly, go look for the context in case I need to refresh myself about what was going on. So what type of support is this? Well, this is an anecdote. This is anecdotal because it's one small example, right? A very singular one about Simpson and Yates in this specific mountain. So that is an anecdote. Does it support the notion of being selfish for survival? Well, yep, it sure does, because Yates had to cut his friend loose in order to survive. The outcome, the fact that they both survived, is immaterial, right? Like his decision was based on looking out for himself first. How and why does it support it? It kind of tells you in the article. The author kind of spells it out. But like if Yates didn't look out for himself, he most likely would have died also. Or I would say actually no, they both most likely would have died. He couldn't bear the weight of his climbing partner, so it was either him or his friend. Which it played out. Luckily, they both survived, right? But in that split second, he had to be selfish. He had to think of himself and not really think about his friend who was dangling there. And so that's it. That's all I want you to do for Friday. You can do the same exact one. You can pick something else from Is Survival Selfish if you feel like it as well. But don't worry about it. But like what I want to see is I want you to practice just getting all the boxes in, getting the information accurately without being too wordy, right? Like I don't want you to do so much that it's like overwhelming. But I want you to give yourself a nice reference point for when we start to build this 3 weeks from now. That you remember, and it's easy for you. So you're going to save this document somewhere on your Google Drive because we're going to be working with it frequently. Okay, so save the support and research somewhere. Be ready to turn it in on Friday. If you've got any questions, so let me know.